Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I've got this Back on Your Feet, Give It a Whirl card. Let me set this aside and we'll get started. For this Get Well card, I'm going to be using the Back on Your Feet stamp set. And I've got a piece of basic white and the turtle from that stamp set, and I'm going to ink with Memento. Let me just tap that all over and then put him down, give him a good rub all over to make sure that we've transferred the ink. And now I'm going to zoom in. We're going to use our Stampin' Blends. Let me just move this up so I stay in the screen and color our turtle. So I've got Evening Evergreen and, Mossy Meadow, a little bit of soft suede, some crumb cake, and then I've got my light cinnamon cider just in case I want to use that for an accent. So let's start with our greens, and I think I'm going to use the bullet tip in the dark and the brush tip in the light, and I've done that just opposite. So here we go. I'm going to have to make sure that I'm reading the labels on my markers. Okay, and then I want to do the same in the Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to open my dark here and the light and set them here. And let's just start. So down here, I'm going to make this dark Evening Evergreen and then color out with the light. And then I'm going to switch and sort of variegate his shell. That was dark Mossy Meadow and then the light. And I'm just using the shading lines on the shell, deciding which ones will be dark and which ones will be light. So let me just think here. We'll put the dark Mossy Meadow here. I don't want his shell to be too much of one color. And then let's do the dark Evening Evergreen. Okay, and then we'll do some Mossy Meadow over here. And then need to come back over here for the Evening Evergreen. And then I'm going to pretend that there's one more little square, rectangle, whatever, back there. So let's close up our greens and move them out of the way. And then I'm going to bring in my crumb cake and soft suede. I'm going to do the same thing. The dark is going to be the bullet tip, and the light is going to be the brush. And that way, maybe it'll help me to remember which one is which. So let's make sure I'm still in the camera here. And this is the dark crumb cake that I'm putting on. And then I'm just going to blend that along with the light. And let's do each of the legs that way. little bit on the bottom of this foot. And again, I'm just using those shading lines that are already provided in the stamp. No fancy shading today. Just remembering to go down into that dark color and pull it up with the light. And that way you get your blend. Okay, so here's our crumb cake on the neck. And then the dark. And a little bit of dark over here. And I'm just going to blend out from that dark so it's not a harsh line. Same thing here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So let's set these down a minute and see what we can do with the soft suede around the top of the shell, or bottom of the shell, really. Okay. And I'm just stroking in a little bit of this light soft suede all the way around here. And then I'm going to come in with the dark and blend this down a little bit with the light. And then come with the dark right here at the bottom and blend that right back up. Oh, and there's a little bit of dark right here. Okay. Going to go here then next, and then right in with my light, and that'll give just enough contrast there. Now let's cap these up. May have to go back and check my caps when I'm done and see that I've gotten the right ones on. And then I'm going to add some of this light cinnamon cider in here between because often a tortoise shell has a little bit of that ruddy color on it. And then I want to come back in and tone it down just a little bit by brushing some light crumb cake over the top. So that you still get a little bit of that cinnamon color, but it's not quite as bright. Okay, so there is our tortoise. Let me put these aside, and I'm going to zoom back out. There we go. Okay, and grab my paper snips, and I want to cut out this cute little guy. And I'm going to leave his little bit of grounding shadow on him. And we turn the paper as we cut instead of turning the scissors. And I'm just going to cut him on off this larger piece. It'll be easier to handle. Okay. Now we can turn in here without having a large piece of cardstock for the scissors to get caught in as you turn. And I am leaving a white border. If you want some help with leaving your borders, I have a video for one simple trick for easier fussy cutting. Okay, so there we have our cute tortoise, and now we need to move on to the other pieces of our card. So next I've used the Give It a Whirl dies. These were new in the 2021 Stampin' Up! Catalog. Let me leave these out for just a minute. So I've used this die to cut my piece of Pool Party. You can see how they match up, and it gives this great little stitched edge. And we're just going to put this back. And then I've used this rectangular die to cut my opening. And you'll notice that the die that cut the larger piece left a hole in it, which is great. So when you cut your window using one of the dies, you just line up the hole that's on the stitching. That piece, not the stitching. Let me move this over to the side. Then we have our wheel die, which is on this piece. And you'll notice it also cuts a circle. And then these pieces actually leave a little bit of an embossed line. I'm not sure, there you go. Can you see this? Which is great when we go to line up the pieces for stamping, so that you know that you're in the zone. So I'm going to call it a little bit of a cheater method. I'm going to take this and put my die for my window over top, and I know I'm inside those embossed lines, and I've lined up with the die cut circle. And then I'm going to take a number 2 pencil and outline what will be my window. And then I'm going to look for those embossed lines again and line this up and put that down and do the same thing and just trace my window. And this will make it so that I make sure that each thing I'm going to stamp has plenty of room and is going to be lined up. Okay, and do this last one. Okay, now I'm ready to move these dies out of the way and set this piece aside, and I need to bring in my Stamparatus. So we're going to put this piece in here and straighten it up so that the box is straight. And then I need a stamp, and I'm going to start with the first of the sentiments that I'm going to put on here. So put that down. And then I've got my grid sheet that I use to make sure that things are lined up. And I'm going to stamp on here with the memento, and then just give it a check so I'm straight and in the box. So let me move this out of the way and ink again. Okay, now I'm going to take this one off and turn, thinking about which way the wheel is going to turn. I'm not going to stamp this box. Okay, so let's place this on here and place this might need to be just a smidge higher. Okay. And then we're going to place this in here and lay my other stamp on top. Make sure I've got it going the right direction. And then I want to pick it up and ink it up. And then we're going to stamp and make sure that it's in the box. Okay. That looks like it could be just a smidge higher than I had it. So let's carefully pick it up and move it. And I'm going to ink it one more time and hope that I'm still straight. Let's make sure my sheet is in the corner. Okay, and that's what we're going to use. Okay, now let's pull this out and take my Stamparatus out of the way. And next I've got 3 little crushed curry hearts that I'm going to adhere to that final box using some multi-purpose glue. And I'm going to get real smart here and pop these other 2 in place before I put the first one down. So let's move this one out to the edge, and that way they'll all 3 have room in the box. Okay, and then we'll put the outside one down. And then I'm going to use my take your pick and pick this last one up. That'll help me to place it when as soon as I've got adhesive on it. Okay. There we go. And just pull that shoulder down. Okay. Now next I need to take my eraser. This little kneadable eraser is perfect for erasing pencil mark. If you've used a pencil that you have not drawn too darkly with. Okay. Okay. Next, we're going to put some of our pieces on this layer. I'm going to go ahead and put our wheel in here, and then we'll put the pieces in. So I need one of the brads. They come in round and square, and I'm just going to take one of the square brads because I think I'm going to cover him up part way. So it won't matter that I'm using a black brad. So let's make it flat in here and then push this down, but leave just, don't make it too tight because you want your wheel to be able to turn. Okay, and you can find the brads back with the embellishments in the catalog. Okay, and then next I have used the Picture This dies, and I've cut some pieces of crumb cake to simulate kind of a floor design on here. Let me just get my turtle. Okay, so I'm going to want to be up about that high. And let me grab my dimensionals. And as I said, we're going to create kind of a, the look of a floor, maybe. That's what I'm saying it is anyway, a floor. Okay, and each of these pieces has some nice stitching around it. I'm just going to measure again with my turtle to make sure that I've got this first one up high enough. And let's look, he looks straight. Okay, and then I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of this piece and slide it right up here. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut this off. Let me just reach into my discard pile over here to the side and come right down here along the edge of the card and cut that. Okay. And then we're going to do that again with a second piece. Okay, and come right up here. Oops, don't want to twist that as I cut it. Okay, and then we're going to come in with this piece. Okay, and this time I'm going to line my scissor up more with, you could have measured these beforehand, but I'm okay with trimming here. Let's do this at the end and then come clean this up. There we go. Oh, not quite straight. Let's straighten that up. This is where I need to be a little more left-handed. There we go. Okay. And then I want to stick this one in the corner. And we're going to trim. And trim. And let's see, that one's not quite long enough, just what I thought. So then I'm going to take, oh, where is it over here? I'm sure you all have these pieces of dimensional from the edges. I know I do. I save them to use at a later time, and this is that later time. So we're just going to line this up here to fill it out and then trim off. Right on out to the end, and then line that up with the one above. Okay, so there we've got our pieces for our floor. And let's go ahead and put our turtle on. And I think I want some mini dimensionals. So let me grab maybe not, maybe a full size. I think I don't want to put a dimensional on this hand here because I don't want it to interfere with the turning piece in any way. Nope. Okay, so there's this. Okay, and I think I want to trim this up just a little more over here. Yeah. Okay, and I'm just using the scissor, again using the edge. And I've got a little bit of dimensional here in the way, so I'm going to cut that loose. Okay. And this is where my favorite little spatula comes in on that take your pick, because it will loosen that dimensional for me. And now I can come on up that edge, okay? And let's clean up that last little bit of dimensional here. Do you all ever get dimensionals where you don't want them to be? The take your pick is your friend. Okay. Let's just put this out of the way and pop the dimensionals out of the way, and then we're going to add this to a layer of Pool Party. And I'm going to use some of the foam adhesive strips. I use these most often for shaker cards, but again, I think they're perfect for this because we've got lots of just straight lines, and I just want to cut some pieces and zippy. They're taken care of. You just don't want to be next to your dial with any of these pieces. And I'm going to cut this one in half and put half of it here and half of it here, and then I need a couple pieces at the top. So here, and a little piece over here. Pulling the backing off as I go, and then right up here in the middle. Okay, let's put those strips out of the way. And line up this bottom piece. Okay. And then I've got a piece of thick basic white and a piece of the Pool Party for the inside. This Pool Party strip is a 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. And I'm just lining up the bottom of my card on the grid sheet. And I do like to leave these strips just a smidge long. That way I make sure that I've covered the whole width of the card. And this piece is 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. And then we're going to add dimensionals to the back of this piece because I love cards with dimension. Okay. And we're going to straighten this up on the grid paper and then put this down, checking our borders. Okay, and so here we go. I'll put this in the envelope where it says sigh, and then come on around and they'll get the 3 hearts, and then come on around with our message. Hope you're back on your feet soon. That's our back on the feet. Give it a whirl card. Thanks for stopping in today. If you're in the United States, please do some of your Stampin' Up! Shopping in my store. You can give this video a thumbs up and share it with your card making friends. That would be awesome. When you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell, you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Have a great day and hope to see you back soon. Bye.